Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
What's up, everybody? Kevin Jackson here. How do they do it? That's what I want to know. And you're wondering, what in the heck is Kevin Jackson of the Kevin Jackson Show talking about when he asked the question, how do they do it? How do they pick the worst city in America? That's what I want to know. Hey, if you want to reach out to me, kjradio.com, or you can call me at 844-551-8255. If you are listening to this program and you live in what I call an urban indoctrination center, aka a city, you live in a cesspool. It doesn't even matter what it is. It could be Salem, Oregon. It could be Portland, Oregon. I got a lot of folks up there. It could be Cleveland, Ohio. It could be Chicago, Illinois. It doesn't matter. Some, relative to others, you'll say, well, Portland, it's the Great White North. So it's got fewer problems than, say, Cleveland, Ohio or Detroit. But it's got problems because it's a city that's run by liberals, leftists, no question, progressives, and they are running it into the ground little by little. And the only thing that bails them out is everything that surrounds them, all that farmland, all those good rural folk that talk a little bit differently, that slow down, have good sensibilities about themselves, have this thing called common sense. So how do you determine what is the worst city in America? Let's throw some names out. Okay, I've given you Baltimore. I think I did. We've got Cleveland. We've got Chicago. We've got Los Angeles. We've got Detroit. We've got Atlanta. Oakland, Compton. How many do you need? How many do you want? I got plenty. I got a lot of them. Houston, Texas. Dallas, Texas. Austin, Texas. Go to Arkansas. Tulsa. Oklahoma City. D.C., San Antonio, and a Liberty Town, Austin, and a Baton Rouge. Or maybe it was Boston. Yeah, Boston and Baton Rouge. Tulsa, Austin, or Oklahoma City, Seattle, San Francisco. When you hear the music, I have to remember the towns by quoting Huey Lewis. But it doesn't matter where you go. You got lots of crime. You got lots of cover up. You got people going, let's clean up the city so people don't realize how filthy dirty it is. That's what de Blasio's like. Now look, let's pick up the city. They got people coming in. It's like your parents when they say, look, be sure to pick up your room. We got company coming over. Everybody help pick up around here. That's what would happen. The cities are the same way. Go pick stuff up. Throw that trash out. Somebody get some air freshener. Don't you know some of these nasty cities wish they could just turn on a big old fan with air freshener? Oh, man. Gosh, just filthy. Harry Reid talked about it. He says, D.C., I tell you, in the summer, it's really nasty. These foreigners come in and, hey, let's just being honest, they're stinky. They're stinky people. You remember when he said that? Y'all, you're old enough. Don't act like you're not old enough. But yeah, Harry Reid actually said that. He said foreigners are funky. Funky foreigners. Won't you take me to Funky Town? Funky Town is D.C. Oh, man. See, we are musical people. Black folks are musical people. Funky Town. So it's funny to me that they would try to figure out where's the worst town to live. What do you think it is? The worst town. What do you believe is the worst city to live? I don't even know the statistics of what makes it that. Is it crime rate? Is it access to opportunity? Is it, for example, unemployment? Is it tourism? What do they measure on? And I got the article here, so I didn't even read it. All I saw was who was named the worst town. Who do you think it was? I've given you a lot of choices. By the way, the city it was is not in those choices. I know. Hard to believe. Hard to believe. I've given you Detroit, Boston. No, yeah, I did Boston because you lose. Cleveland, Chicago. Did I do New York? New York, San Francisco. I mean, you name it. And the town's not even in there. You need a hint? It's not a big city. Oh, let me just be the deal breaker. What do they call it? I'm going to spoiler alert. All right, it's St. Louis. The city I just moved from. St. Louis It's the worst town in America. Worst city. No, I'm sorry. Worst city in Missouri. Oh, shoot. Well, that kind of blows everything I just said, doesn't it? I bet it's the worst town in America, though. This article says worst town in Missouri. City's poor standing, largely attributed to economic decline brought on by lack of population growth and waning manufacturing sector. Let me tell you why St. Louis is the worst town to live in the country. They don't want to say it, but it's true. Let me tell you why. Number one, St. Louis at the turn of the 20th century, I'm talking 1905, population 860,000, give or take. St. Louis population in 2017, 318,000. Now, in 100 plus years, this city has managed to shrink by almost 2/3. That's sickening. You're talking about Chicago went from believe it or not, Chicago and St. Louis were roughly the same size at the turn of the 20th century. Chicago's now millions of people. You could put the downtown of St. Louis in a 2-block radius of Chicago's downtown. You may not even take you that much. Maybe just take a block. It's crazy how big and how successful. And by the way, Chicago's still an armpit. Don't misunderstand me. But they figured out how to make money. They gouge everybody there. But St. Louis did not. They gouge and can't even build a city. Many of the economic problems in St. Louis are tied to the city's rapid population decline. City's population is less than half of what it was during the peak, its 1950 peak of 860,000 people, and it continues to decline. While the population grew 11.5% in the last 10 years, the number of residents in St. Louis fell 5.4%. Now think about those numbers. To find the worst city in each state, 24/7 Wall Street examined approximately 550 cities across the country with populations over 65,000 residents in 2015. They looked at data in 9 categories: crime, demography, economics, education, environment, health, housing, infrastructure, and leisure, and made a final judgment. Worst cities in neighboring states: Illinois, Rockford; Kansas City, Kansas, which, by the way, shares its border with St. Louis, Missouri, with Kansas City, Missouri; Iowa, Des Moines, Arkansas, Fort Smith. What they're telling you folks is wherever the city has a decent sized population, it stinks. That's it in a nutshell. Anyway, we got a lot to talk about. St. Louis, woohoo! Way to go, girls.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Beth Cook Moranville, author of Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope.
Hope, that wonderful, wonderful 4-letter word that you may feel completely out of. I wrote this book to give you great hope. It's not too late. If fetal position is an all too familiar place for you, I understand. If the next 60 seconds are too long, this book is for you. Wherever you are right now, whether you're dealing with divorce or death or sickness, take hope. You are going to make it through this pain. Don't roll your eyes. I've walked this road and I know it. The best is yet to come.
Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope from author and speaker Beth Cook Moranville, can be found on Amazon.com or Kindle.com. For more information, visit closerthanYourBreath.com or on Facebook at Closer Than Your Breath.